Shabbat Shalom, my friends. You know, when this pandemic first hit, there's a lot of uncertainty. People didn't know how services would look in the future. What were we going to do? But there was never any doubt at all that we would continue. No virus, no pandemic will ever stop Jews from celebrating Shabbat. And indeed, as bad as this virus is, and it is tragic, all the death, all the devastation, all the lost jobs and income and the suffering, our people have tragically gone through far worse. And Shabbat always continued as a bright light in a world of darkness. And so we are inspired by the past, and we are building towards the future, and we're actually coming out better than before because we are innovating, we are learning, we are trying new things. And so I'm really excited not only about this Shabbat, but also about the high holidays, because we're learning a lot of good techniques and some great music and wonderful imaging for high holidays this year. I'm also very excited because tonight we have a wonderful sponsor, Carol Baum, who's sponsoring the Oneg in honor of Ben Pilch's 80th birthday, and the two of them will be leading us in the Kiddush, the drinking of the wine, because the two of them are very, very sweet people like that wine. We also have the candle lighting led for us by Jane Rosenblum, another wonderful person who actually began a Na'amat chapter at L'Dor Va-Dor. And Na'amat celebrates women's rights, and the passage we're reading tonight is all about women's rights. And recently the Supreme Court just made a really great decision denying people who are trying to prevent women from exercising their right to choose and rejecting that argument. And so for now, abortion rights are alive and well. So we celebrate with joy with a song that means let us rejoice, Hava Nagila. But before we get to that, we're always going to be innovating here at L'Dor Va-Dor. I just want to share something with our Spanish-speaking people. Bienvenidos a todo el mundo. Es un placer de estar aquí con ustedes para acudir Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom a todo el mundo. Y yo quisiera que todo el mundo recuerde que si es Goya, tiene que ser boicoteado. Nosotros no podemos apoyar una persona en una compañía que hace cosas terribles y tenemos que mostrarle nuestros sentimientos. Entonces, relájate y diviértense a Shabbat y vamos a comenzar con Hava Nagila.
Good evening, everyone. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov, v'tzivanu ladlik ner shel Shabbat. May we be blessed with joy. May we be blessed with light. May we be blessed with peace. Shabbat shalom. Spread the love, not the virus, and stay safe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen.
A rabbi was once asked, "Rabbi, why is it that Jews drink wine on Shabbat?" And he answered, "Why not?" Why not is the most important question that we'll be asking ourselves this evening, especially at the inspirational message. And when we think about the wine, we realize that a little bit of liquid can enter the human body and make us feel a little more joyous. It can make us feel happy. And so we ask this question, if a little bit of liquid can do that to another person, can't we? Don't we have the capacity to do what this little wine does and make people feel better and bring a little joy to their lives? The answer, of course, my friends, is why not? We know that we have the capacity to do it. Just like when we ask, can the Jewish people, if we all join together as one, make this world a better place and perhaps bring the ideals that we just talk about and sing about and pray about, can we actually bring those ideals to life to improve this world? The answer has to be, why not? After all, we belong to the people who spawned some incredible people like Anne Frank, someone who lived under the most dire circumstances and had the courage and the optimism to say, how wonderful it is that we don't have to wait a single day in order to make this world a better place. If under her horrific conditions, she had the optimism and the inspiration to look at the world with joy and say that she could make this world better. Think of all the freedom that we have to make this world better. And we ask ourselves, are we capable of bringing joy to others? And the answer is a resounding, why not?
Shabbat Shalom.
The beginning of Shabbat is marked by reciting a benediction sanctifying the day.
Kiddush, which means sanctification, is the prayer recited over the wine, through which Jews proclaim the uniqueness of Shabbat.
Sweet wine has long been used to make Shabbat just a little sweeter.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
I am proud to sponsor tonight's services in honor of my beloved Ben Pilch, who is celebrating his 80th birthday. I wish him many more years of good health, good times. Happy birthday.
And we hope and pray that our entire congregation is managing well during this distressful time of the coronavirus. We wish everybody good health now and always. Amen.
So let's continue with the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadashah, v'ahava uvratzon inhilanu, zikachon lema'aseh, v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila, למיקרוי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קדשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים. There's an apocryphal story about Napoleon when he was marching his armies throughout Europe into Egypt, and he was discovering all these new things, and his mind was expanding. And he called upon Laplace, the greatest scientist of his age, to show him what the universe was really like. Laplace gave him a model of the universe. Napoleon looked at it and he said, "This is very interesting, but where's God?" And Laplace famously said, "Je n'ai pas besoin de cette hypothèse." Or for those who don't speak French, I don't have any need for this hypothesis. At that point, when scientists were starting to understand physical laws and how things work, they realized you didn't need to posit a God who's going to make every raindrop fall to earth. You had gravity to do that. You didn't need to posit a God to figure out why people got disease. You had the germ theory to do that. And you started to realize that there didn't have to be someone who was actually making everything happen. But then they thought, well, maybe there was a God who just put everything into action, who started it all and just sat back and watched. The problem with that is, if that's true, then you have to imagine that for hundreds of thousands of years, God just sat back after creating all this and just watched human beings suffering, languishing, living for maybe 25 years and dying a horrible death in ignorance and squalor for hundreds of thousands of years before he decided to come to some backwater place in the middle of the desert and speak to some Jewish people and share his message. That doesn't really make sense. You'd also have to posit that the same God just watched as the Jews suffered one horror after another, culminating in the Holocaust. To rational minds, that is not very satisfying either. And so people began to think, maybe not only does everything have a natural cause, but even the beginning of everything, perhaps there's a natural cause also. And just like we didn't understand how these other things happened, there's probably a reason why that happened without having to posit some divine creator to have done it. Maybe there is a way to get something out of nothing, we just don't know it yet. Or maybe there always was something, which seems a little weird, but isn't that more likely than somebody set all this in motion with all these horrors and did absolutely nothing to stop these terrible things from happening? And so now modern Jews believe something that's really wondrous and miraculous. I call it cosmic Judaism. We believe that everything around us is just full of miracles. As Einstein said, everything's a miracle. And as Heschel said, we should use radical amazement to look at the world around us. And so we're beginning to see through science that everything is absolutely astounding and extraordinary, but we just don't realize it. The goal of Shabbat is to wake up and to realize the magnificence and the splendor and the wonder of the world about us. We do this with the Shema, which celebrates the unity behind everything, and our goal for unity in our lives and with all people and all living things. We do this with the V'ahavta, that explains to us that we should have a feeling of love and of emotion towards everything that we see around us. We also do this with prayers like the Ma'ariv Aravim, which celebrates that everything follows fixed patterns and systems and physical laws that make life possible. And we also begin with the Baruch Hu, a blessing that just gives praise for everything we see around us. And we don't have to attribute it to a creator. We can attribute it to a creative force or process that's in everything, that unites everything and is beyond everything. We begin with the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Baruch Ata Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet.
We continue now with a special reading of the Avot V'Imahot, because this Friday night we celebrate women's rights in the Torah reading. And in this passage, we used to call it the Avot, it's now the Avot V'Imahot, the fathers and the mothers, because we recognize that one of the keys to success of the Jewish people is great Jewish mothers who love and nurture and who shower their children with affection and with confidence. And so we continue with the Avot V'Imahot, giving thanks to fathers and mothers and wonderful ancestors, grandparents and ancestors who went through great torment and ordeals to deliver this precious heritage to us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Socha, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם, V'ezrat Sarah. And if my mother is watching this, and I'm pretty sure she is, thank you for all that you did for me and for that you've done for my brothers and for L'Dor Va-Dor. Shabbat Shalom. Now, today's psychologists tell us that something that is so important to mental well-being is what they call mindfulness. It means not just walking through life blind like an ant just following an aroma and just walking in lockstep with the others, but to actually think, to reflect, to rejoice, to enjoy, and to consider and to ponder ways that we could improve our lives and our world. That's why the silent meditation is so important. It's just a precursor to the ability and the desire that we have to spend many moments in meditation, especially during this pandemic when we're confined to our house. We have a lot of time to think, a lot of time to consider. Let us use this time wisely so that we emerge better than before and ready to take our country in a new direction, ready to take Judaism where it's never gone before. We also, during this time of silent meditation, we think of our dear ones who are no longer with us, and we rejoice in the fact that we have the ability to continue to make their lives a blessing by living up to the high ideals and hopes and dreams they had for us and for this world. Let us incorporate all of their wonderful attributes. Let us channel their love and inspiration, and let us help them to make their lives a blessing through us. Silent meditation.
Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha You shelter us beneath ozone, O Adonai, through miracles that now are known. You protect earth sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere blocks cosmic rays, but lets in light so life can thrive down here. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom, Ve'hamidenu Malkeinu L'Chaim. Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha.
Now we have one of my favorite Torah readings, a passage about some extremely courageous women who approached Moses and asked for change. And Moses, being the great leader that he was, did not rebuff them. Rather, he considered what they said and was willing to change the law. That's what Judaism is all about. That's the key to our survival. And we have a wonderful example right here with the courage of these women and the flexibility and compassion of Moses.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam bohed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Hatikvah benot Zilfachad ben Chefer ben Gilead ben Machir ben Menashe lemishpachot Menashe. And then the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Chefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Menashe, from the families of Menashe, the son of Joseph, approached Moses. Ve'ele shemot benotav. And these are the names of his daughters: Michla, Noah, V'chagla, V'milka, and Tirza. V'ta'amodna lifnei Moshe, v'lifnei Elazar HaKohen, v'lifnei HaNesiim, v'chol ha'adat petach Moel. And they stood there courageously before Moses, before Elazar, the high priest, before the leaders and chieftains, and before the entire congregation of Israel, petach ohel, at the tent of meeting. Lemor, Avinu met b'midbar, v'hu lo haya b'toch ha'edat hanoadim al Adonai ba'adat Korach. Our father died in the wilderness. He was not one of those rabble-rousers who gathered around Korach in rebellion against God. Ki b'chato met. No, he was a good person. Uvanim lo hayu lo, but he did not have any sons. Lama yigara shem avinu mitoch mishpachato ki en lo ben. But why should his name be erased from the families of the Jewish people just because he didn't have a son? Tenu lanu achuza betoch achei avinu v'yikrad Moshe et mishpatan lifnei Adonai. They pleaded with Moses, please give us a portion of our father's inheritance. They were very skilled lawyers because they didn't say it's for us. They said it's for our father. We don't want his name to be erased. Moses then took the case to God, or in modern parlance, he applied divine principles to this legal question to come up with a just answer. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, and God said to Moses, according to the Torah, as follows, Ken, benot zilfachad dovrot. Yes, the daughters of Tzalafachad speak correctly. Naton titen lahem, achuzah nechila betoch achei avihem. And he repeated himself twice, Naton titen, to use emphasis. God saying, yes, by all means, give to them a portion of their father's inheritance. V'ta'avalta et nechila avihen lahen. Yes, you shall give part of their inheritance, the father's inheritance, to them. Ve'el b'nei Yisrael tidaber lemor, and to the children of Israel you shall say as follows, Ish ki yamut uven en lo, if a man dies and he has no son, va'avaltem et nechaloto leveto, and if he has no son, you shall give his inheritance to his daughter. Ve'im en lo bat unetatem et nechaloto le'echav, if he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. Ve'im en lo achim unetatem et nechaloto le'achei aviv, if he has no brothers, then give his inheritance to the uncles. Ve'im en achem le'aviv unetatem et nechaloto le'sa'aro hakachov, if he has no uncles, give his inheritance to his next of kin, mimishpachato, among his family. V'yarash ota, and they shall inherit it. Vayata livnei Yisrael lechukat mishpat ka'asher tziva Adonai et Moshe, and this shall be an eternal covenant given by God on this day to Moses, and this shall be the law of inheritance for all time.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata bitochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And if you heard a little bit of noise just before the end of the Torah reading, that was my dog Nudnik coming in. Nudnik wants to remind everyone that not only do women have rights and non-Jews have rights, animals have rights in the Torah and are even given a day of rest. So thank you, Nudnik, for joining us, and we hope that we will extend and bend the arc of history towards justice for all people and for all living things. A Jewish man was once asked, why do Jews always answer a question with a question? The man said, why not? Asking questions is really what it means to be Jewish. It means to have an open, inquisitive mind. It's also what it means to be a scientist. Scientists have developed human progress and knowledge so much because they dare to ask questions, especially questions that challenge basic assumptions. The Torah reading this Shabbat centers around the simple question that was asked by these women, these brave, courageous women. Even though my father had no sons, why should that mean that his name should be erased from among the people of Israel? Today it seems like such a simple question, no big deal, right? Well, actually, the women who asked the question had no legal status whatsoever in the Jewish community. Women did not have rights in Jewish law. Moses was the most supreme leader the Jewish people have ever known. So people with no status went to the greatest leader of all and dared to ask a question. They dared to challenge the status quo. The courage that these women had, who knows what might have happened to them, but they came forward to ask a question and they established new law, not just for them, but for all the Jewish people. They took the first step forward towards equal rights for women. And as Martin Luther King said, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. This was the first effort to bend it for women's rights, and we celebrate their courage. 100 years ago, women demonstrated similar courage when they demanded the right to vote. They say that all truth goes through 3 phases. First, it is ridiculed, then it is violently opposed, and then is accepted as self-evident.
When the women came forward 100 years ago, Grover Cleveland, the leading politician of the day, said, responsible and sensible women do not want to vote. And many people agreed with him. They took a risk. But the history has shown that even though they were at first ridiculed, and even though they were violently opposed, some of them suffered violent attack, thrown into jail. Now today we look at women's rights to vote and we say it's self-evident. But it wasn't always that way. We have to remember that today there may be things that we look at as self-evident and things that we think are okay, but they're not, but we just haven't challenged them yet. The Declaration of Independence said, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And when they said men, they meant men. They couldn't see that this was so wrong. By today's standards it is. So what is the Torah trying to tell us? It's trying to tell us, my friends, that even though something seems to be established, it can and should be challenged. If these women had gone to the typical Orthodox rabbi today, they would have been laughed at. They would have said, how dare you try to challenge the law of Moses and the law of Israel and the Torah. What they don't realize is that Moses himself changed the law of Moses. Moses himself changed the Torah. Moses himself was willing to say that there's something that could be done in a better way. That's what we need to do as Jews today, to say that there might be a better way. The Torah reading is actually a prophecy in many ways of what's happening today. After all, look at the passage last week. Last week describes a passage dealing with a talking ass. And today we hear politicians denying climate change. Politicians who say that protest is wrong. Politicians who say that the threat of coronavirus is a hoax. Is there any doubt that the Torah passage is predicting what would happen today? And is there any doubt at all which politician I have in mind without me even having to tell you who I'm talking about? The Torah doesn't just talk about things years ago. It talks about today. And Judaism must continue to change. This passage has two different storylines in it. One of them describes Pinchas. Pinchas was someone who we would consider today to be barbaric. What was happening is the Jewish men, where it says in the Bible they were whoring with Moabite women. It was a very good way to entice men to come to services. They actually had cult prostitutes. But even though it brought them in, God was not pleased. And so he sent a plague upon the people to punish the people. Pinchas came forward, and Pinchas saw two people frolicking, a Jew and a non-Jew. And what was the non-Jew's name who was engaging in sexual immorality? Cosby. I told you, the Torah does predict the future. If you don't believe me, dust off your Bible and check it out. You'll see the name is Cosby. What does this guy do? This guy named Phineas takes a spear and he stabs them to death in broad daylight. We today would be aghast at this violent act, but God was well pleased. He said, because you have done this righteous act, you, Phineas, will be the chief priest of Israel, and your descendants will take over in your stead when you pass on, because I'm so happy that you committed this act of violence. The Torah is not the epitome of divine wisdom and judgment. In fact, it's blasphemy to say that God could have written such a book or such a scroll that says that you should execute a woman if she's not a virgin when she gets married, or that you should sell your daughters into slavery to make ends meet. These works are our first effort towards morality. But in the same passage with Phineas, by the way, the passage was named Pinchas. It was named after him because our ancestors thought this was the paragon of virtue. But today we realize, no, he is not the paragon. The paragon of virtue are these women who dared to challenge the status quo, who dared to ask questions, as the story, why does a Jew answer a question with a question, why not? And it was Robert F. Kennedy who said, some people see the world the way it is and ask why. Others see the way it could be and ask why not. The whole story of Judaism is to see the world the way it could be and to ask why not. Why not a world of justice? Why not a world where everyone has their needs met? Why not a world of peace? Why not a world where we have intelligent leaders? Why not a world where the human capacity is seen to bring out the best in ourselves and in the world? And so as we approach the high holidays and we look at our own lives, we say to ourselves, is this the best we can do? Can't we do a little bit better? Can't we use our potential that was given to us over billions of years of evolution? We survived all these billions of years. Is this the best we can do? Why not do better? When we look at our lives and we see the dreams and the hopes that our parents had for us and the investment of love they gave to us, and we see that sometimes we fall short, and we ask, can't we do a little better to make our parents proud, even if they're not here physically with us, to keep their spirit alive in us? And we say, why not? When we have this pandemic and we have this isolation, we have plenty of time on our hands, time to learn a new language, a new musical instrument, time to study hard, to learn new things, to make ourselves interesting, to take on a project, to do something productive with our time. And we say, why are we doing this? Why are we just wasting our time? Can we ask ourselves, why not? Why not do better? And as we approach the high holiday season, a season that celebrates the human capacity to do better, the season that says Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. And what does Rosh Hashanah mean? Rosh means head and Shana means year, but it also means change. With the head, with the mind, we can change. But we can only change if we dare to ask questions, dare to challenge the status quo, dare to challenge authority, and dare to challenge our own man-made shackles that hold us back. Let us ask ourselves, why is it that we haven't utilized our full potential? And when we ask ourselves, can we do better? Let us answer, why not? Shabbat Shalom.
bless you and keep you. Make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש והברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Jewish people celebrates life. We cherish life. Our favorite number is 18, which is the numerical equivalent for life. And so it's appropriate, I suppose, that when we lose life, rather than curse God or get angry or express remorse, the blessing that we recite, the Kaddish, mentions nothing about death at all. It's really a celebration of life. At the time that life is taken from us, we cherish life so much that we give thanks for the life that we had. That's what makes us Jewish. We're incurable optimists, and we give thanks not only for the life that we cherish, but for our own lives and for life itself, and the ability that we have to preserve what was good and noble and beautiful in the lives of our loved ones by living up to their high expectations for us, and to be inspired by their fine example to try to live a life that would make them proud and will be able to allow them to continue to be a blessing just by thinking of them. We can improve our lives and improve the world. And so we continue now with the Kaddish. As we recite the Kaddish, we recall all those who have passed on recently, people who have succumbed to the coronavirus, people who have fallen ill to this tragedy and all the suffering that's going on because of that. We also remember our dear ones, our loved ones, our parents, our grandparents, the heroes of Israel. We celebrate the lives of our recently deceased and the anniversary of the departure of those who died at this time. And as we read the Kaddish, especially aided by the wonders of modern science, which teaches us how just amazing life is. As I mentioned in the beginning, we should just have radical amazement, in the words of Heschel, that life even exists at all. Let us give thanks for life. And when we do, let us show our appreciation by making the most that we can of our lives and by being inspired by our loved ones to continue to allow them to live through us. Yiskedal v'yiskedash shemei rabah, v'yalma divrach ruseh v'yamlich ma'chuseh, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei rabah mivorach l'olam omei omaya, yisporach v'yistabach v'yisvoar v'yischomam v'yisnaseh, v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemei l'kedeshah b'rechu, le'elam inkol b'rchasa v'sharasa, tishbechasa v'nechamasa, Da'am yachon b'yoma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam harabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. What a wonderful passage we read from tonight, and what wonderful, inspiring music we've heard. I hope that we'll always remember the beautiful passage we read and the courage of the daughters of Tzolafachad and the flexibility of Moses. And so we end with this final benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed and may you be preserved and taken care of. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the light of love shine upon you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the inspiring passage that we heard tonight of women who were not afraid to step up and to speak up for equal rights for all people. Let us be inspired by their courage, and as the United States faces this inflection point, this turning point in history, let us not turn back towards traitors of the past and celebrate what they did. Let us look to the future and remember that Judaism has always changed and that we have the power to write the next chapter of history. And that chapter should be full of justice, brimming with brotherhood, and shimmering with shalom. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing L'Dor Va-Dor for your Shabbat evening. We are thrilled that you're with us. Thank you to Rabbi Barry Silver, Ross Lopater, Andy Susman, and Arnie Pickholtz for making tonight's Shabbat service very special. Thank you to Carol Baum and Ben Pilch for sponsoring tonight's Shabbat in honor of Ben's very special birthday. We would like to show our gratitude to all of our newest members and our members who have recently renewed with us. Thank you. We have some news to share about the upcoming High Holy Days in September of this year. L'Dor Va-Dor will be offering virtual services for the High Holy Days for free. They will be available like these Shabbat services online, and we welcome all of you to share and enjoy these at no charge. But these services still are a large expense for our congregation, and we will welcome donations of any amount, large or small, to help us offset these expenses. We thank you for your support of Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor. We will also be offering our annual Book of Remembrance so that you may remember and honor the loved ones that you miss. This year, our Book of Remembrance will be distributed electronically rather than printed. We hope you will be part of it and have your loved ones' names remembered within it. We will provide more information about all of these High Holy Day offerings in the next upcoming weeks. We thank you for your support of L'Dor Va-Dor. We welcome you to join in and participate in all of our virtual events and programming. You can find out about these and more on our website, ledorvador.org, or within our voice email newsletter. And if you're not getting our voice email newsletter, which comes out a couple times a week, you can sign up for that on the ledorvador.org's website. Please join us tonight at 8:30 p.m. and each Friday evening for our Oneg Shabbat Zoom and Schmooze. Get the link in our voice newsletter that came out today or on our website, ledorvador.org. We thank you, and we hope we'll see you later. With that, Shabbat Shalom from L'Dor Va-Dor.
Hava Nagila,